Hello, good evening. And today I'm going to talk with you about working in Thailand and how it's been for me during these first couple of weeks. It's actually been fast and furious. You would have thought they actually needed my support here because I have been super busy. But I really wanted to talk to you about what it's like being an expat who who's living abroad, but not retired, not just enjoying the culture, but what it's like if you're someone who's planning a move or if you're just curious about what work life is like, especially here in Bangkok, then that is what this conversation will be. I'd love to give you some insights just about what my experience has been, and I have a few questions. But what's really gonna be cool is at the end, I did a video clip of my morning, I won't say routine, but my morning breakfast routine. And if you watched my other video about my first month and someone had asked, well, what surprised me most? And I talked about my chicken stand and my guy who makes fried chicken. I am going to share a little video clip at the end of this live. So I hope that you are up for the conversation and glad to see you all here. Before I get started and get into this conversation, let me introduce myself. I'm just messing with just want to make sure the sound is okay. Yeah, yeah, okay, good. So before I get into this conversation, let me introduce myself and my channel. Hello, I'm Dr. Davia. Welcome to Not All the Things. This is a space for success driven, mature women of color where we talk about ways to balance work and life. If there is such a way, you gotta lean into it. Wellness and wine. And I am super excited because I finally found a rosé. I have to be honest, I didn't quite find it in Thailand. I found it in duty free when I came through duty free from Malaysia, and just happened to be walking around. It was reasonably priced. They had a ton of South African wines, and you see this says sweet and fruity, and that is what I was looking for. So I have been working on it a little bit, but you know, I I'm glad that I found it. It's good. It wasn't that pricey. Maybe $12, $15, $12 or $15, which is pretty basic. Yes. I'm happy that I found it. So, if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It's free. It tells the algorithm to share this content with other folks who are similar to yourself and who might enjoy it. And if you are coming back, thank you. Thank you for being patient while I get all the kinks out of it. And I'm just glad to be here. And so I'm just going to say hello because my daughter, who is always here for me, is in the comments. So, hey Marley, good morning, good evening. Yes, even though on the East Coast it's evening, it's already morning here. And so, yes, let there be rosé for sure. Anyway, good to see you here in the chat. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about um, the top five or so um, ways in which you could work in Thailand or industries, right? And so I'm in the field of education, and education is the one of the top fields for an expat to be working in industry. And so I do have a slide that I wanted to share. These top industries or roles for expats in Bangkok are one, education, teaching English, and I know Dr. Crystal. She has been doing a series on TEFL and teaching English as a foreign language. And so if you've not checked that out and you do have an interest in that, you should check out Dr. Crystal's channel on Sabbatical Life. And so she has been doing and talking about her experience getting her certification to teach English. And I believe she's coming to Bangkok for a few months to potentially scout and also decide if she wants to try it out. So I'm giving you a plug. I don't know. I'm sure you'll watch this in the future, Dr. Crystal. So I'm very excited for you. The second industry is around informational technology and startup companies. I actually work in a building called True Digital Park, and it has so many co-working spaces, and it is like a full technology startup kind of space. It also has a mall, and it has a food court, and it has all kinds of things, all kinds of shopping, and there's housing connected, but it is there for technology. It is definitely there more as a startup kind of piece. And I will say that it feels like with this craze in AI, it feels like there's a high demand for people in software development, and also for people who are doing mobile app development, cybersecurity, data analysis, digital marketing. So if you do any of those things and you can do them digitally, that helps. But if you have a particular skill set, you could apply to jobs, either in the U.S. that can also be placed here. But I would say, from where I stand, everywhere I look, there are folks sitting at cafes, and there are folks sitting pretty much everywhere. Really, they look like they're doing technology stuff. I have no idea, but I know my entire building is dedicated to that kind of future-facing technology. Even though we're education space, when I'm not there, and I'm only in the building twice a week, the other days I'm at schools. So number two is definitely one to think about if you have that skill set. Then there is marketing, sales, and communications. And again, I think this is connected to the startup, but there are roles in marketing. We actually have a marketing group within our education field because it's an international school. They have to market. They are in competition with other schools. And so they do a lot of content creation. They do a lot of digital marketing. They do a lot of signage for the schools, and the signage is in multiple languages. There's also a social media arm so that there's highlighting what's happening in the school, but also how it's impacting students and families. And so it's really interesting to see the kind of, what's the word? I would say connected to, but not exactly within the field of education. So there's quite a bit of that also. And then the communication, the communication is really around media management and all kinds of like targeting international companies or tourism around not only what Thailand or Bangkok has to offer, but what one could get once they're in country. So, or what kind of businesses, and many of the businesses are the same, right? When I go into the mall, there's everything there. When I go just in my normal daily life, there are the same kinds of opportunities here. I will say that I appreciate the companies that I work for because, and I think it might be a Thai law that when they hire one expat, they must hire 4 Thai. And so there are not a lot of expats, clearly, but it makes sure that many of the jobs, there's not that tussle about, well, you're coming to take my jobs. Because for one of me, there are four Thai folks that are able to be hired and are part of the company. So I appreciate that, and I think that's smart to do, um, for sure. Then there's hospitality, travel, and tourism. You know, there are tons of hotels and restaurants. And so if you are, say, at a Courtyard or Marriott company in the States, you could get transferred to a Marriott here in Southeast Asia, in Bangkok. That is definitely an opportunity. And then there are tons of folks who start these um, tourism businesses. I'm a part of a group that I just joined here called Adventures While Black, and they do all kinds of activities that outreach to the broader community of color. You can they invite anybody is able to come, but it's been good to go to a brunch, or they do overnight trips and things like that. So I don't know. I'm assuming they started that while they were here, or they decided to create that business. I'm not really sure. I'll have to interview them and maybe have them on and let them talk about how they got started. I think it would be really interesting. It's a good idea. But yeah, the travel and tourism business, especially servicing foreign tourists, expats, and international clients, everyone's looking for what's familiar, and everyone is looking to feel home a little bit. And I do think that there's an opportunity there. So hospitality, travel, tourism is a big one. There's so many places just in Thailand. When I go and visit some of my other schools, I actually have to fly a 2 hour flight or hour and a half flight. So it's a very big space to be explored. And so if you are into those like travel groups, that could be a really good industry for someone. And then there is the freelance and remote work. And I do think many of the digital nomads work a few days a week and live here. My cousin actually lives in Pattaya, and he got approval from his job. So he has an encrypted, I guess, laptop. I'm not quite sure how it works, but he works 3 days a week and he lives here in Pattaya. And he's been here for almost 4 years, I think, because he came after COVID. And so he is super happy. He can just do his few days and then he has his time to himself. So being a freelance worker, a remote worker, a digital nomad, that is absolutely the way to go. And there's probably one more that I didn't put on there, and that's healthcare and medical. Clearly, if you have a particular specialty and you have you specialize in something that is of high demand, you definitely could get a job, I'm sure, in the professional field of medicine and healthcare. I don't know what it's like, so please don't nobody ask me. I have no idea, but it is worth looking into and worth researching. Okay, so those are the top industries that I wanted to share. Let me see if there's anybody here with me yet. Yes, Miss Marley's here, of course. All right. If you're going to be watching this in the future, keep this in mind. You will be doing your research for the country that you are interested in living in. But for Bangkok, these are some that I have done a little bit of research on to find that most expats, if they are here working, are in one of these five to six fields. Others, medicine. Okay, so I do have a few questions that I am responding to, and that helps me to move it along. Someone asked, how does Thai workplace culture differ from what people might be used to in the US and in Europe. And so I will say the one thing that I have noticed is when we work in a co-working space, but we're not facing each other. We're all like, we're not in cubes. We're just kind of around the room. I should have did a video of that. Can't believe I didn't. And folks are pretty much the same. There's a whole morning routine where everybody's like, do you want coffee? Do you want tea? We tend to like go and have coffee and tea together. So as an entire community, we'll get up and we'll go to the tea stand or the coffee stand. We also have free coffee and tea in our space because it's co-working, and that happens a lot. There's a whole lot of conversation. I wouldn't say there's any true cultural differences. We also eat together. Maybe that's a difference. When it's lunchtime, there's almost like, I don't want to say like an announcement, but folks are like, all right, it's lunch. It's 12:30. Like, who's going to lunch? And then everybody gets up and goes to lunch together. So I really do appreciate that and enjoy it. I actually have some footage of, I think the trains in the morning going to work are pretty interesting. Just like the US, everybody has their heads down. Let me just bring that up. So these are just two quick photos of the train. Train is quite clean. I will just say this is the BTS. There's also an MRT train, which is underground. But this is above ground, the BTS. And hopefully you can see this picture where everyone sitting down has their head down looking into their phone. And I love to people watch, and I've just been doing this silly tally in my head of, is there anybody just taking a look at each other? Anybody just, I don't know, looking up other than myself? So you can see in this top left, I guess, picture, everybody, that's my morning. And then the trains are beautiful, clean, and on the right hand side, if you could look down on the ground, they have these little arrows, and I think it's the smallest detail that's so smart, but the arrows have you nowhere to stand, so you're not blocking the door. So when people come off the train, you're not standing right smack in their face, which is so annoying. So I would say that the culture is same as our own, but I think what's different, at least in the office, is that we do have meals together. We have breakfast together if people are eating breakfast or having coffee and tea, and we have lunch together, and that doesn't always happen in the US. I think it's also there's a lot of sharing of food, but in my office we used to do that all the time, so that's familiar. And so a lot of it feels similar. Again, it could be that I'm in education, and that's how educators and teachers and folks would normally be anyway, I think. At least that's what I've experienced. Someone asked a question about how important is speaking Thai in the workplace, and how do expats navigate language barriers? So I do think it's important to know the language and be aware, but just like everyone else, when folks are talking to each other and they're just having a little gossip, you can kind of tell because they break straight into Thai. They just start speaking to each other, and they come over to each other's desk and they, lean in. But otherwise, everyone is speaking English. I wish I had a little bit more Thai, but I listen and I ask my questions. And what I've noticed is they help me to try and understand what's going on. So when we go down to get coffee or tea, they'll say, "Davy, what do you want?" And I said, how do I say this? And they say, "You know how to say tea. It's chai." Thank you, Marley. It is absolutely that. Or they'll order next to me so that I can hear. So there is definitely a balance, but they speak their language and it's fine. This is their country. They should be able to speak their language, and for me it's just learning a few words so that I can at least be a part of it. Everyone says good morning and everyone says good evening, but as far as feeling like I'm trying to navigate, English is the language that they all really speak. Um, and when they want to really get their point across, they speak Thai and then they go back and they translate it. So I get that. I totally get that. Now, I had another question about what are the best ways to build professional relationships and networks in Bangkok? That's a good question. So, the best ways, I think, are to be willing to be present. Excuse me. I have my flavored water. It's so good. Mint, fresh pineapple, and lemon. Excuse me. I have a tickle in my throat. I think the best way is just how one would always build a relationship. Be willing to go out. If someone says, hey, do you want to come have lunch? Don't say, oh, no, no. You have to go out. You have to network. You have to be willing to do some of the after hour things. And then you can also find groups. You can find Facebook groups. Not that I'm big on Facebook. Y'all know that. But you can connect. I have, I would say, one Thai friend who invites me out or sends me WhatsApps to let me know, oh, this is what's going on, or I'm going to go eat at this restaurant, or do you want to go someplace? So she reaches out. And then I have two friends from Adventures While Black that I had met when I came for onboarding. And so they tend to offer me, respite, somebody to hang with, somebody to eat with, somebody to just kind of go around the city with, and also someone to just kind of check in with. But really, when they hear of things, they say, make sure you sign up for this, or did you hear about that? I also use Time Out Bangkok, which is like a digital online service. It's not really a service, but they do cultural events. They highlight cultural events, restaurants. They highlight any kind of cultural arts that's happening. And so that has helped me a lot to do some networking. So those are the ways, and I think I really do like that question. The best ways to build a professional relationship is the way you normally build a relationship, right? You have to lean in, and you have to be willing to push out of your comfort zone. If you're not used to, going out and you just want to go home and kind of like be on the couch, which I totally appreciate. Sometimes you have to say, no, you know what? I am going to go out to dinner just because. So, I think that's a good question. Let me see who's here. Oh, there's some folks here. All right. Hello. How are you, Dr. Crystal? I bigged you up right at the top. I was talking about the top industries and roles for expats in Bangkok, in education and teaching English is one of the number one top industry for expats here. So I know you're doing a series, so if you want, you can drop that information in the chat, and at least it will be here. Good to see you. And where are you? Oh, you're still in Mexico City? Oh, you're just having a grand time. I love that for you. I love that for you. Good to see you. Glad you were able to make it. Let's see. Oh, hey, Tracy. Oh, lots to think about. Oh, yes. I miss you too. I definitely do. Listen, come on out. I'm here. Come on and visit. Yes. You will be teaching English. English is the way um, to go. And it's not clearly just because you speak it doesn't mean you can teach it. But I do think there is certification, and it's worth looking into if you want to dig into that. Yeah, and definitely check out Dr. Crystal's channel, and you'll be able to see that she's doing an entire series on teaching English as a foreign language. Oh, tomorrow's your last day? Okay, well, I will see you in Bangkok. Definitely in December. Nice to have you all. Yes, okay. Here is another question. This one's interesting. Advice for newcomers. What tips would you give someone considering moving to Bangkok for work? Hmm. Um, I honestly think you need to come with a job. I don't think you should travel anywhere unless you're teaching English as a foreign language, but you still need to do the research. I think you should come to any new place with a job in hand. I think you should do the research at home. I think you should do the interviewing, and that basically the company is relocating you to where you want to be. I think it's the easiest way because I have support from my job doing everything. When I needed to go and get my work permit, I had someone who was Thai who went with me, and she basically was like, "Give me all your papers. Don't say a word. We're going up into this government office." I was like, "Okay." She was like, I will handle it. And so she, having a company support you in that way means that all of the tedious parts or the sticky parts don't mess you up and don't keep you from being able to get comfortable in a new space. You already are moving, you're already transitioning, you're already leaving friends and family. You can't then have a whole situation with your work and trying to do the work. So having the company bring me here just made my transition as far as my work goes, 100% smoother. They helped me with my permit. They helped me get my banking together. So going into the bank, you can't just open up a bank account, even if you come with X amount of thousands of dollars to put in the bank. It doesn't work like that. So there's a lot of scrutiny. I carry my passport and show it a lot because most of the business transactions, you need to have your papers with you. So definitely do your research and definitely say to yourself, I am most likely going to be making good money and much more money. No, let me not put it that way. I'm making the same amount of money, but in an environment that costs less, right? So it goes further. And so you need to think about, if you want to do the digital nomad, how much is enough for you to live off of, right? You don't have to I can actually go out and hang out, and it doesn't cost anything like the $100 or $200 a night in the US, right? You can have a good meal and hang out and not spend more than $20 here. So you have to be clear in your mind what you need to be comfortable, right? And I would say also look for some freelance jobs, look for some virtual jobs, and make sure if you get it, the company knows that you're planning on relocating and you have approval to do that. I have seen stories where folks have a virtual job, remote job. They move, and then their company's like, you can't have our information out there like that. You have to come back, or you have to change jobs. So you have to be really smart about that. But my most important tip is to look for work and employment either virtually, in your home country, to move to the space that you want to. Okay? That is the tip that I think would be helpful. I'm going to just show. Thank you, Dr. Crystal. I'm sorry. Her channel is called On Sabbatical with Dr. Crystal, and she has been really doing the thing. She's been on my channel, and we've talked, and there's been a lot that she's been able to experience while being on sabbatical, and she has done a lot. She has been on a exploration, but also she's been learning. She's been using her brain and upskilling. That's kind of what educators do. We stay upskilling. So thank you for sharing that. I'm sorry I was not getting it right. Okay, I am going to just show you all. This is the walkway. The upper left side is the walkway that I take into my True Digital Park. I just decided to take a picture. And this is as I enter into the space on the right-hand side. So I just wanted to share that with you so you could get just a sense of the space. It's a really big, beautiful space. And I will do a little mini clip of the inside at some point so that you can see. It is a beautiful mall area and well worth getting up and going into the space to enjoy it. They make it so comfortable that you can start at 8 a.m. and go all the way to 6, 7 o'clock and not even think about it because it's a comfortable environment there. Okay? And so the last thing I will share, and this is really because I was talking about it during my video around my first month here, and I hope it works, it's a little video clip of my morning routine with my chicken guys. So let me see if it will work before I go. Let y'all go. This way. He's always here and he's wonderful. And this is the best chicken. The best chicken. I'm not really sure what that is, but I'm gonna get my green tea from over here. This is really good. And then there's also my 7-Eleven, which is right here. Literally right outside, and everybody's getting their morning goodies. But yes, you see that 35 baht? Come on, Starbucks. That's probably like $1 something, a little less. Okay, bye. So I hope that you enjoyed that, and I hope that this was useful information. If you are thinking about moving to another country and you're trying to think about the industries, definitely do some research. I gave you the top 5 industries for expats in Bangkok. The education, there's technology and startup companies, there's marketing and sales, there's and communication, hospitality, travel and tourism, finance, banking, insurance and consulting, there's freelance work. And so all of those are really important for Bangkok, but you can also just do remote freelance work if that makes sense for you. And if you think that somebody would enjoy this, go ahead and share this with them. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again. I'm glad my little clip worked, and I'm glad you were able to get a flavor of that. If you want to buy me a cup of coffee, tea, or wine, definitely do so. And glad to just be able to be here with you all. Have a wonderful week. I'm going to say cheers. Cheers. And remember not to do all the things because we are consistently doing way too much. Have a good one. I'll see you next week. Let me see who's in. Oh, nice clips. Okay, I'm glad, Marley. Yes. Oh, yes. Please do go back and watch. I was just chatting it up. Good to see folks for sure. Um, yes, I need to remember to put in the videos and put in the little pics. Have a great week, everyone. Be well. Take care of yourselves. And cheers again.